you swear that you had no part by way of design in King Sancho's death? I swear it! If you are forsworn, may you die such a death as your brother did, struck from behind by the hand of a traitor.
He radiates authority, showing a regal presence that often found him cast as great leaders. At home in classical drama and historical adventure, he always gave a stalwart performance. Trained on the stage, this star never forgot his roots. He is the one and only Charlton Heston. Heston was born John Charlton Carter on October 4th, 1924, in Evanston, Illinois. Interested in acting at an early age, Heston attended Northwestern University to major in speech and drama. His virile good looks and commanding presence made him a natural, and the young actor was appearing on Broadway by the late 40s. Coming to Hollywood in 1950, Heston was immediately recruited as a leading man. He was most at home in action roles, like the tough circus boss in Cecil B. DeMille's 1952 drama, The Greatest Show on Earth.
Including Charlton Heston, who fights to keep the greatest show on the road.
DeMille was hard on his actors during the shoot, insisting they learn whatever circus talent their character performed. The film was a smash hit at the box office and won the Oscar for Best Picture. In a later interview, Heston remembered what it was like working for the legendary director.
If an actress showed up late in the set, which he really knew very well was her fault, he wouldn't rebuke her because that would just upset her. But in front of her, he would castigate the hairdressers, the wardrobe people, the makeup people, and say, "You have kept Miss Hutton, Miss Baxter, waiting, kept us waiting for her for nearly half an hour past her call. I can't tolerate it. I won't tolerate it. You must not do this again." And they would bow their heads, and the actress involved would know perfectly well that it was she that had kept them waiting.
Following his success under the big top, Heston appeared in the turgid 1952 melodrama Ruby Gentry. Jennifer Jones was the title character, a poor girl looking for true love in the swamps of North Carolina.
You know you can't hold out the way you feel.
Get out of here!
She finds it with Heston, the son of a once rich local family. Carl Malden, as a wealthy landowner, complicates matters.
Well, you little tramp. You're dressed up to look like a lady. It's a pity you can't behave like one, and none of this mess would have happened.
But most movie fans just weren't interested. The following year found Heston tackling a pair of historical roles. He made a fine Andrew Jackson alongside Susan Hayward as the President's Lady.
I did.
What did you say?
Sure you'd like to hear.
What did you say?
I said I wonder whose bed Rachel will be putting her moccasins under next.
Based on the popular novel by Irving Stone, the film told the accurate story of the 7th President of the United States.
He accuses you of adultery.
With whom?
He names me.
Louis, please.
Get out! You want to go, don't you, Miss Rachel?
Not if it means bloodshed.
Pony Express put Heston out west as real-life legend Buffalo Bill Cody. This fanciful film recreated the action-packed tale of mail routes expanding across the country. Though it bore little relation to reality, Western fans didn't mind.
Stop! What, Bill?
You mean they do this just for fun?
It's fancier than shaking hands.
Rhonda Fleming and Jan Sterling provided the romantic interest, with Forrest Tucker as Cody's pal, Wild Bill Hickok. Traveling to South America, Heston found more adventure in The Naked Jungle. In this turn-of-the-century tale, the star played a tough plantation owner who finds his land under siege by a deadly swarm of killer ants.
Nothing there.
There's something there, all right. But it's not afraid of guns.
To top it off, he also has to deal with recently arrived bride by proxy, Eleanor Parker.
My perfume. Perfume I wanted you to wear. Isn't it good enough for you? Have you even tried it? You're my wife. Maybe you forgot that. Line engine's woman.
The film's highlight was the ant attack, which led to an explosive finale.
Let my people go.
In 1956, Heston re-teamed with Cecil B. DeMille for the director's final film, The Ten Commandments.
If there is one more plague on Egypt, it is by your word that God will bring it. And there shall be so great a cry throughout the land that you will surely let the people go.
Come to me no more, Moses. For on the day you see my face again, you will surely die.
So let it be written.
Taking the role of Moses, the star gave a performance of biblical proportion.
Who shall withstand the power of God?
Filled with an all-star cast and Oscar-winning special effects, the film was a smash at the box office. It would later become a holiday favorite, thanks to repeated television showings at Easter time. In this glimpse behind the scenes, DeMille and his star are seen conferring before an important scene.
Charlton Heston here seen surveying the preparations before donning his makeup for the impressive sequence of the patriarch Moses leading his people on the Exodus. The scene will be long and complicated, covered by cameras from every angle. And a conference with Mr. DeMille is held before actual filming.
Heston then headed to post-Civil War Texas for 3 violent people. Now an actor with some clout, Heston helped get Orson Welles hired to direct 1958's Touch of Evil. Originally, Welles was only supposed to co-star in the film, but Heston mistakenly thought Orson was directing as well. To keep Charlton happy, the producers let Welles helm the film. Orson, once a Hollywood golden boy, had been on the outs with the studios for years. Now, with Heston and Janet Leigh as the stars, he had a chance to prove all his critics wrong. This tense and exciting tale of corruption in a seedy border town is filled with unforgettable moments.
You framed that boy.
Framed him!
Heston, improbably cast as a Mexican detective, gave one of his finest performances.
You're caught now. I'm a husband. What did you do with her? Where is my wife? My wife!
What are you trying to do?
We're trying to strap you in the electric chair, boy.
Dark, eerie, and blackly comic, many critics recognize Touch of Evil as the ultimate film noir, though it was ignored during its original release.
Mike may be spoiling some of your fun.
Mike?
My husband, yeah.
In an interview years later, Heston had kind words to say about his talented director and co-star.
I've had great good luck with directors. Orson Welles, who was one of the most gifted, naturally gifted, if not disciplined and not entirely balanced filmmakers I've ever worked with.
Heston returned to the role of Andrew Jackson in the swashbuckling adventure The Buccaneer. Heston next signed on for the epic western The Big Country. Gregory Peck, Gene Simmons, Carol Baker, Oscar winner Burl Ives, and Charles Bickford made up the remainder of the impressive cast.
What do you want, Hennessy?
You set foot in Blanco Canyon once more, and this country's gonna run red with blood?
The story follows the feud between two families in the Wild West, with Heston in fine form as a hot-tempered ranch foreman. In fact, director William Wyler was so impressed by Heston's performance that he cast the star in his next film. Its title was Ben-Hur, and that film would win Heston the Oscar for Best Actor of the Year.
I tell you, the day Rome falls, there will be a shout of freedom such as the world has never heard before.
A biblical epic based on the best-selling novel by Lew Wallace, Ben-Hur was an enormous success.
One wife, one God, that I can understand, but one wife that is not civilized. It is not generous.
Heston played the title character, a proud Jew whose faith pits him against boyhood friend Stephen Boyd.
You kill me and your mother and sister will die today.
Ben-Hur won a record 11 Oscars, including Best Picture, and its fantastic chariot race has never been equaled. Years later, Heston remembered the importance of making the film and the secret behind the chariot competition.
Well, it was fixed. I knew I was going to win. And it's like anything else. If you have to learn to do something physical that you don't know how to do, you must never wait till the picture starts. They do not have time then. And I went over 6 weeks before we started shooting to learn to drive the chariot, and Yakima Kanat taught me to be a modestly competent charioteer, and then he arranged for me to win the race. It was clear to everyone that the film, unless it was just collapsed, if we all stumbled and fell while making it, or died making it, that it was going to be an enormously important film, as it was. You know, it won more Oscars than any film has won or is likely to win, and all other kinds of awards, and of course its financial popularity persists to this day.
In 1959, the star teamed with Gary Cooper for The Wreck of the Mary Dear.
Somebody was out to wreck the Mary Dear. Why?
You know why, Captain Patch. You wrecked the Mary Dear yourself, deliberately.
Heston played the captain of a salvage ship that saves the title craft and finds Cooper, the only man left on board. Some fine special effects help rescue this well-cast but often dull mystery.
Among our people, we have a word for a warrior with a vision to be just and the courage to be merciful. We call such a man El Cid.
Heston was acting from the history books again as the legendary Spanish hero El Cid. In this 1961 drama, the impressive production design nearly stole the show from Charlton and his co-star, the lovely Sophia Loren.
Why did you come, Rodrigo? Did you think the woman you chose to love could do less than you?
But my love won't die.
Kill it.
You kill it! Tell me you don't love me.
Shall we disappoint our king? We bring you peace! Kill them!
Filled with exciting battle scenes, the film told the story of El Cid driving the Moors from Spain. 1962's Diamond Head cast Heston as a domineering pineapple grower with political ambitions. As he interferes with daughter Yvette Mimieux's love life, problems develop in typical soap opera fashion.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm telling Sloan I'm gonna marry her.
I've just about had a gutful of you.
And I've had a gutful of you, Howland. You foul of everything you touch.
55 Days at Peking found Heston back in heroic mode.
What the hell can I offer? A soldier's pay?
Yes.
Well, a soldier's pay buys a soldier's woman.
Alongside Ava Gardner and David Niven, Charlton battled the Boxer Rebellion in turn-of-the-century China. Though the historical account was sometimes confusing, the star trio made up for it with fine performances.
What happens to you in Tenzin?
I will be entirely in your hands, Major.
You're in my hands now, but you seem to keep slipping through my fingers.
Heston reached for the heavens and came down with an impressive portrayal as Michelangelo in The Agony and the Ecstasy. Based on Irving Stone's best-selling book, the film chronicled the artist's struggle to paint the Sistine Chapel. Rex Harrison co-starred as Pope Julius II, who clashed with Michelangelo over every brushstroke.
Obscenity! Shameful! Shameful and obscene!
What have you to say? I will paint man as God made him, in the glory of his nakedness. Get out a last signal to Earth that we've landed!
In 1968, Heston took a journey to the Planet of the Apes. This offbeat science fiction classic would become one of the star's most popular roles.
Damn you all to hell!
Heston starred as an astronaut who crash lands on a planet where apes rule over the human population.
Man has no understanding. He can be taught a few simple tricks, nothing more. You did it. You cut up his brain, you bloody baboon!
The makeup effects were outstanding, rendering co-stars Roddy McDowall and Kim Hunter unrecognizable in ape form. This featurette shows the Oscar-winning makeup wizards hard at work.
3 hours and 40 minutes have passed, and an ape is born. Heads for the wardrobe department and emerges in full simian splendor.
The film was a smash hit, spawning 4 theatrical sequels and a TV show. Heston, however, only appeared in the first follow-up, 1970's Beneath the Planet of the Apes. James Franciscus took the lead in this one, with Heston recreating his character in the shattering finale. The same year, Charlton went on location to star in the sprawling drama, The Hawaiians.
Quib, please put me down. Quib, please put me down. Please put me down! Put me down!
Heston returned to his classical roots when he portrayed Mark Antony in a 1970 production of Julius Caesar.
Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hand of war.
Though the budget was not high, the cast was outstanding. Jason Robards essayed Brutus, with stage great John Gielgud in the title role.
Et tu, Brute!
1971's The Omega Man found Heston back in the middle of sci-fi action. Based on Richard Matheson's classic novel I Am Legend, this bleak film had the star as the last man on Earth following devastating germ warfare.
Discovered check. How does that grab you, Caesar?
The conflict spawned a race of murderous zombies, led by a wonderfully villainous Anthony Zerbe. The impressive production design effectively showed an empty world, as seen in these glimpses behind the camera.
To depict how Neville deals with this threat, the company has to work in Los Angeles on Sundays and holidays to get the look of the city abandoned. Heston and the director prepare for a dangerous ride through streets cunningly booby-trapped by the others.
Here we go.
1972 found Heston flying unfriendly skies in the hostage drama Skyjack. When a crazed Vietnam vet hijacks an airliner and demands it go to Russia, the all-star cast is thrown into danger.
All right, you heroes, come and get it.
Luckily, the stalwart Heston is in command.
We're intruding into Soviet airspace. They're liable to shoot us down and give the answers later. I'm diverting to a free world strip.
Hank, we're there. Tell Anchorage to prepare for a 0-0 landing. Have some pencils, courtesy of your next assignment. William R. Simonson.
They told me to say that they were sorry, but that you had become unreliable.
More science fiction adventure awaited the star in 1973's Soylent Green. This tale was the bleakest of them all, with Heston as a police detective in an overpopulated future.
Why did you set up Simonson?
I didn't.
While investigating a brutal murder, he discovers not only a killer, but also the secret behind the food nourishing the world.
Who bought you?
High and hot. And they want this case closed permanently. Their way. Now, you sign this.
You sign it!
Heston was effective as usual, and Edward G. Robinson gave a fine performance in his last film. Disaster struck twice for Heston in 1974. He helped Karen Black land a damaged 747 in the exciting sequel Airport 1975.
We're gonna have to help the autopilot make it turn.
The only way is to put a pilot into 409.
You mean a mid-air transfer?
The thrills were familiar, but audiences still loved watching a plane load of movie stars in jeopardy. Earthquake was billed as a movie event to top them all. Released in a technical innovation called censoring, this shattering epic of destruction turned out to be a disaster with critics. Despite the dramatic silliness, the picture was successful enough to shake lots of cash out of moviegoers' pockets. As the 1970s continued, Heston remained a frequent presence on the silver screen. 1976 alone saw him starring in 3 films. 2-Minute Warning found a sniper loose at a professional football game. With another all-star cast in danger, could Heston save the day, or would he fumble at the goal line?
We're coming up in the 2-minute warning. You ought to have your people in place by then. When the 2-minute whistle blows, it's your ball game.
Midway was an epic retelling of the monumental World War II battle.
They took the bait, Admiral. And it has to be midway on.
Heston headed the large cast, which was filled with familiar faces. The star was back in the saddle again for the brutal Western, The Last Hard Man. Heston portrayed a sheriff marked for revenge by outlaw James Coburn and his gang. When they kidnap our hero's daughter, Barbara Hershey, violent action followed.
I'm going to get myself provisioned and get in his track, and I'm going to stay there till I get my daughter back.
Heston continued his busy schedule as the 80s began. The Awakening was a dull horror tale based on a Bram Stoker novel. When archaeologist Heston opens an ancient tomb, trouble is stirred from its slumber.
She must have killed thousands.
Soon Charlton and his daughter are both in mortal danger from an immortal threat.
I'm a free trapper, by God. I trade my clues to the highest bidder, cash money.
The Mountain Men cast Heston in a character role as a grizzled trapper who runs wild in the Old West with pal Brian Keith.
Don't you want to have fun no more?
The film was also a family affair. Heston's son Fraser wrote the script.
Reckon you're gonna keep her?
Running Moon, why don't you go home?
I go with you.
Reckon I got any choice?
Charlton Heston remained an active presence in movies, television, and even the political arena. Through it all, he still stands as one of Hollywood's most commanding stars. Whether portraying historical figures with authority or dealing with modern-day disasters, he stays in control of the situation. Hollywood will always remember Charlton Heston.